Well, I think probably what we could do tonight is we could...
Take 20 seconds.
Okay, I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay, stand by.
All right.
Here we go, 5.
Hey, I'm Elisa Parker, and we are broadcasting here from the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, the largest environmental film festival in the United States, which is pretty phenomenal. Steve Michelson's been to almost all of them, right, Steve? Like what, 14 out of 15?
Yeah, 14 out of 15. I started in 2004.
That's amazing. What was it like that first time you came here to Wild and Scenic? How would you describe that, and has it changed at all?
We came with a film called Oil on Ice. It was the story of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, and in fact this year, playing probably right now, is a new film called The Refuge. So, and we gave workshops that year about our new tools that were connected to DVDs on how to protect the refuge. And it was an amazing period where, as a result of the film, we had tens of thousands of people sending letters to Congress, and the vote came up 3 times in that next year, and each time it was rebuffed by citizens calling their senators and legislators. So it was an amazing time, and Kathy Dotson, who got the whole thing started, was just quite a leader and amazing person. I do want to correct you, because I used to say the same thing you just said.
What?
Wild and Scenic is the second largest film festival in the United States.
Well, we'll say the largest of its kind.
I guess so. The Environmental Festival of D.C. is.
I've heard about that, but it's a little bit different too.
It's a little
different.
But it's,
I'm going for branding, promo purposes.
All right. Well, we want to have accuracy too.
One of the largest film festivals of its kind.
It's the second, as
the
far as I'm concerned.
second largest film festival.
There's no shame in that for a small town like this.
So tell us about your films. You have a lot of them here that you were representing.
Yes. In 2004, when we came, I was a producer of that film, Oil on Ice. This year, we have been a sponsor for many years under our distribution company, The Video Project, and we often acquire films from the festival, which we will be doing this year. This year, we're representing 4 films, so it's kind of a banner year, and a workshop that we're putting on this afternoon.
So many that we need to look at the program to make sure we get it right.
All the producers' names correct. Another Way of Living, the story of Reston, Virginia. Rebecca Wingert-Jabby is an amazing filmmaker. It's the story of the town of Reston, Virginia, how it got built and why it's such a unique place. The Babushkas of Chernobyl, with Holly Morris and Anne Bogart as filmmakers, been winning festivals all over the country. It's the story of 100 babushkas who've gone back to Chernobyl to live they seem to be able to continue living there without the suffering from radiation sickness.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I really like our film Fly By Light. It's the story of inner city kids in Washington, D.C. Ellie Walton and a gentleman named Hawa is the filmmaker, and how these kids come out of the inner city and get a week in a natural setting, sort of a camp-like retreat, and it completely changes their life. And our final film is called The Future of Energy, Lateral Power to the People. And Maximilian de Armand and
Missy. We just had them on. Did you see them?
No, I didn't.
You got to connect with them.
Oh my goodness!
They were just here a minute ago.
I've been looking for them. So
I'll introduce you to them tonight.
Of course, I know them very well.
Well, then you don't need any introduction. You're good.
But
you can introduce me to other people then, Steve.
Their film we are turning into a channel, and this is the big news from us: is that films are part of new thinking that. It's better if you have a concept and a cause that's as large as theirs, the future of energy, and we'll be launching at our workshop the future of conservation.
What's that going to happen? What's that about?
That one is called. This is the beginning of a multi-generational project, actually, and we'll be back here in Nevada City, hopefully soon, to award this community its close proximity to the goals of Nature Needs Half. And this is about the science of how much of this planet we need to preserve for wildlife other than ours. And so it's turning out that it's currently at 3 and 12%. And if we're going to survive, and the elephants are going to survive, and the pangolins are going to survive, we need 50% of this planet, including the oceans and the land, connected by corridors. We have this wrongful concept of parks. We think that, oh, the animals are great, let's put a fence around it and call it a park.
I mean, just in the film Drakba, which was about the yaks, you could see a substantial difference, in just even showcased in the film, about once the yaks were confined,
Yes.
there were fences, they produced less milk, which meant less butter, which, I mean, it just, the ramifications of that just rippled.
Well,
So it is interesting.
Yes,
we can't expect the animals. We see that here. I mean, we have mountain lions roaming around sometimes in the parks, our parks.
Yeah, the milk and the butter and the other things are fine, but the main problem is
those yaks alive.
gene diversity. They
And,
have
yeah.
to actually populate with diverse gene colonies, and so the corridors. We'll be talking about the Yellowstone to Yukon success story of connecting Yellowstone National Park to the Yukon for the bears and the wolves and everybody, all the animals of those two parks. So they both, because of the corridors, they have the ability to propagate successfully.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like taking a cult of people and sticking them
Human beings are the same way.
same way. And so if the animals go, we're not long to go after that. So
Okay.
it's
On that positive
it's
note, huh?
It's about us, really. We have, close to 9 billion people on this planet, so we have to figure out where we live and how we live and where everybody else lives.
And in addition to that I'm going to call it the cross-population, cross-pollination, I mean, it goes that way just for us as humans and how we are integrated with the wild world.
We have a lot to learn from the animals, where they're not just hunting trophies or food. They have consciousness and wisdom that we quite haven't figured out ourselves yet. So there's a lot to learn, and there are many people who are, connected to animals in unique ways. They're service dogs for vets and blind people, and they well know the kind of communication that animal. I have horses, and I'm constantly learning from the horses how to be more present.
Yeah, definitely. When's the workshop?
The workshop is 4 to 5 today at City Hall.
Okay.
And James Brundage and Chelsea Congdon, the filmmakers of the film Wild Ways, which is not at the festival. It was the top film on Nova last year, which talked about these corridors and actually tracked the amount of elephants in the world. The head scientist, Harvey Locke, in the film calculated there were 400,000 elephants left. And my grandson, who lives here in Nevada City, son of my daughter Erin Thiem, who owns the Outside Inn and now the In-Town Campground, I told him a month ago that there were only 400,000 elephants left, and in 10 years, at the rate they're dying, 50 a day, there will be no more elephants on our watch. But the good news is just within that month that I told him, and now the Chinese have just announced the end of the ivory trade. And so that's a big step in removing the reason why all of the elephants are being killed. And this is the reason for the channel concept, because your film is a moment in time, and that time base shifts, and people want to, if they're concerned about elephants, they need to know this continuing stream of information.
So true. In film, I say Wild and Scenic Film Fest is a platform to amplify these stories that are so important that we hear, and they're really like the stories of our everyday lives. And they're not the stories necessarily you're going to see it's a big blockbuster film. But it's the real action that really affects our lives, the everyday action heroes who are here. My last question is, Steve, I was asking this question last night to everyone, but the theme this year is At the Edge. Mm-hmm. So when's a moment for you on a personal level when you had to stand at that edge and take that leap, whether that's for your own personal motivation or just making a positive difference, positive impact? Well,
it's a great question. Thank you, Elisa. And this has been a year where I have actually jumped over the edge. I am now the executive director of a new foundation, the Fund for Sustainable Tomorrows, which we inherited from two amazing filmmakers who took one of my workshops. They were 80 years old when they made their first film. They were PhD scholars from Columbia University in sociology, and they made a film that played here in 2008 called Scarred Lands and Wounded Lives. It's the environmental history of war on people and the planet. So they're 88 now. That was 8 years ago, and they're looking around. They daughter in the interior design world. Their son's a lawyer, and they felt that I was the carrier of their legacy. So I am now starting the world of 2017 with a fully funded foundation to support the very films that we are involved with, and it's quite a leap to start a new career in something that it turns out I'm well suited for this.
Right on.
I enjoy talking to people about their legacy. I'm telling people, which they should all know, that none of us get out of this alive, and you can't take it with you. So what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? What are you going to do in this lifetime? And it's never too late to reinvent and keep evolving. It's so important.
Right.
What do you want to tell everybody about why it's so important to come to Wild and Scenic, since you're a veteran here, Steve?
I am a veteran, and this is a place, in fact, we are launching our new campaign here, Nature Needs Half, because it's where activism gets inspired. I think that is just the best tagline. It's one thing to make a film, but it's another thing to carry that campaign to fruition, which we've been involved in many, from organic food to protecting climate change, all of that. So this is a place which is definitely unique in that capability. And when my son grew up here, he said, well, the altitude is greater than the population of Nevada City. But when you think about the commitment of this town and it's not just the festival, it's Circle, it's the conservation, it's the county at large. So it's a very amazing community which has tremendous energy that ripples. This year, for the first time, I saw Melinda's billboard on Highway 80 announcing the festival. Never seen that before. Yeah. She was happy that we saw that, and we high-fived. But this is to Nevada City. It's a great place to live, and it's a center of the environmental world. Cool.
Thanks for being here, Steve, and for all the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Where activism gets inspired, it's at the Wild and Scenic Film Fest. If you've never come, you got to come check it out. You'll probably see Steve because he's here every year. I'm Elisa Parker, and we will be right back with more interviews. Gary Snyder's going to be coming by as well, and Tom Killian this afternoon around 1 o'clock. So also join us for that. Thanks,
you,
Steve.
Liza. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Steve. That's great. Hopefully all the audio was good on that. Nice. Wow, you're on fire.